Buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Welcome to my channel. Please support your local food bank, drug and alcohol center. I'm going to give you a quick recap. These are the ELT, current ELT. I had he or she contacted me, a former IHOP director has contacted me. Very encouraging. They're still receiving emails. He or she is still receiving emails. And they have sent me the internal memo. I have read it. It is actually quite shocking. But I won't publish anything that's not public domain. Now, I've been following this very closely. And right from day one, this was 2 weeks ago. And to bring you up to speed, the ELT, these men, Stephen Strang and Mike Bickle, are winning the social media narrative. Mike exonerated. Many people are saying that Mike is exonerated. The narrative that is being spun is that there isn't a shred of evidence. Where is it? These videos are posted on my website. 5 women, not a shred of evidence. Alan Hood survivor testimony is kind of hearsay. And what's being said on social media is that they are disgruntled. They're all possibly for donations, assets. They are some of the most powerful men, Rick Joyner, for an example, and many people, including Stephen Strange, evil spirits, Satan, the accusers, trying to take down IHOP and Mike Bickle. In order to destroy IHOP, they have to first destroy Mike Bickle. And of course, these men and their ministries are tools of Satan to destroy IHOP. That's what's being reported in the news. And by the whole weight of Charisma Magazine and people like Stephen Strange, he is a spokesman for these men because he went onto social media as well as saying that a report, a Twitter message, he also told his viewers a private message from an IHOP insider. That's what's being reported, and that's why I put my title, the ELT are winning the social media narrative. And like I said, that's what's being reported. Now, the victim advocates report, and the reason why we're looking at Dean Briggs and Michelle is that I now understand. Dean Briggs posted this. You click that. Response to report findings. And if you are new to this whole fiasco disaster at IHOP, Dean Briggs was on staff. He's an insider and very closely connected to this whole, or he's got his whole website. He's written lots of books, all right? There it is there, Dean Briggs. Now, Michelle has reported Dwayne Roberts and former IHOP leadership team put out a statement regarding the ELT. And who is Michelle? Well, if you go to my website, and I just got back from the street. If you're new to my channel, I'm a Christian outreach worker. You click Catherine. This is actually, Shiloh Bickle has posted Catherine. Shiloh Bickle is Mike Bickle's granddaughter. And Shiloh Bickle has posted a post with Michelle. So Michelle is friends with Mark. I actually have a Facebook mutual friend, Dawn, of Mark. And Mark, of course, is the ex-husband of Katharina. Where is she? Of Catherine. All right, that's up to date. Good morning. It's actually afternoon. I've been outside on the street all day. I just had someone from Kansas. Most people coming to my website are from Kansas City. All right. If you go on my website, you can chat with me as well. You just click the little chat button. And all the information is on my website. So we're going to go through this again. And with a fresh perspective, yesterday I did the video. I was actually quite tired. Today we're going to look at it. And then report of initial findings. This is the IHOP. This is a response from IHOP. October 24th. A consistent line, communicated on public platforms has been that the executive leadership team officially knew of the allegations October 24th. All right, October 24th. So this is a response. This is factually incorrect. This just came out yesterday, or 24 hours ago. Stuart Greaves and Marcy were informed of the allegations October 29th. In Stuart community, the entire executive leadership team was informed October 10th. Notwithstanding the official communication, there has been repeated communications of Stuart Greaves and other executive leadership members through 2023 and 2022 related to different situations concerning the allegations. The response has been one of dismissal and inaction. Allegations made by 8 women from the complaint group. I think this is very important we're looking at, because IHOP put out that, here it is here. The complaint group presented a list of 8 alleged victims to the IHOP leadership team. This is what these men are saying. This is what these men are saying. There has been a constant mischaracterization of the allegations against Mike Bickle. The public pronouncements have indicated a list of 8 names victims was provided. This has never been true. All right, these men are saying there's a list of 8 victims. These men are saying this has never been true. What is true is there's a number of abuse survivors who have bravely come forward with permission to be confidentially named. None of them have recanted. I want to put this in here. So many people would say, what about refuted, 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 refuted? These men are saying in this statement, what is true, there are a number of abuse survivors who bravely come forward with permission to be confidentially named. None of them have refuted. So they recognize, these men are saying they are in contact with survivors who have come forward. None of them have recanted. IHOP has put this out, refuted, 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 because these women have done public statements, and you can read the public statements on my website. You just click the little button. I've been praying for them from day one. Not a shred of evidence, according to Stephen Strang, their spokesman. These men are saying none of them have recanted. The majority of the time spent with the ELT on October 24 concerned the grooming and sexual abuse of a main whistleblower. One victim statement included, can you put this in? Initials of her spouse claiming a wrongful relationship between the spouse and Mr. Bickle. The woman made a personal choice to make the public statements, and Mr. Bickle's family immediately challenged them. She is a liar and the manipulator. She's not a credible source. She's destroyed many families. That's Shiloh Bickle. All right. This is Shiloh Bickle. This is the granddaughter of Mike Bickle. She is a liar and a manipulator. She's not a credible source. And Catherine has deleted her statement, but Shiloh has re-uploaded it. And of course,
group officially presented to the executive leadership team a series of allegations against Mike Bickle made by 8 women. Now, I've already commented on the fact that a couple of them have said no, and the others, there was not a shred of evidence. There were not text messages. There weren't emails. Apparently, you know, in one case, I read a statement by one of the leaders who I do know personally, who has apparently been counseling this victim and her husband. But so far, there's not been any evidence brought forward. So it's just kind of hearsay. And it's just interesting that there's nothing specific. And when they go through, it says that the complaint group did bring a list, a pre-prepared list of demands to prevent escalating levels of disclosure. I'm not sure what that means. And the demands and threats, which included dictating the use of IHOPKC's funds, and it generated an atmosphere of concern regarding the true objectives of the complaint group. Now, IHOPKC has been given, a lot of donations over the years, even though the staff raises their own support. People give to the ministry. Some very generous donors have given them some land, some land actually that was formerly owned by President Harry Truman's family. It's just very interesting. And when there's a lot of assets, and then sometimes when you have leaders who think that maybe they would be the successors, there's just so many questions. The fact is, I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to connect the dots in order to understand and report and let you understand what's really going on. So here we have some group of leaders, one of whom, and all this is hearsay, but I was told that one of these people told someone at IHOPKC, this is absolute hearsay, that they wanted to see the ministry burn down. And so you have to wonder about their motives.
All the allegations are refuted, not a shred of evidence. All right. According to Stephen Strange, the truth is multiple witnesses over the last 2.5 years. So not 26 years ago. The truth is, over the last 2.5 years have brought to concerns regarding wrongful contact with Mr. Bickle and women who are not his wife to the ELT and the concerned leaders. There are many eyewitnesses have corroborated. Dwayne is saying that the fact around 20 witnesses have come forward with first-hand experiences in impropriety and why we no longer remain silent. He's saying he's forced into it. Around 20 witnesses have come forward with first-hand experiences of impropriety. Not his wife, the LT, the concerned leaders, which many eyewitnesses have corroborated. Before the October meetings, the ELT was aware of these women, yet has continued to identify and validate these women's erroneous recantations to support a public narrative. And that's the narrative they're spinning. All right? Refuted. They have all these refuted. Furthermore, none were contacted or bullied by the concerned leaders, and a claim is representing were never made verbal or otherwise. What these men are saying is that they didn't bully anybody. They went to the ELT leadership and expressed their concerns of the testimonies of many witnesses. These men are reposting and pushing the narrative that they're just a bunch of bullies. All right. Allegations before the founder of IHOP in stating that one of the whistleblowers is bringing forth a story that took place before the founding of IHOP, the ELT are seemingly attempting to distance themselves from any wrongdoing. The minimalization of the alleged victim number 2 is also particularly egregious. Adult clergy abuse is when a church leader uses the power inherent in the position and role to be sexual with someone under the care who has less power. Alleged victim number 2 reported years of grooming and sexual contact perpetrated by a 42-year-old international renowned minister, Mr. Bickle, that began when she was 19 years old under the leadership and care. This adult clergy abuse lasted in the early eyes of IHOP. Dwayne's reporting that it became a 4-year sexual relationship that lasted into the earth. So 4 years. A teenage girl, 4 years. We, the complaint group, assist in your inquiry to remain alleged victims. Sorry, I got to say it again. We need the complaint group to assist our inquiry to... Okay. The characteristics of a complaint group is demeaning and appears designed to denigrate and create a narrative of bad faith. The request that this group assist in an internal inquiry is a so-called victim list is irresponsible and foolhardy. A genuine independent external inquiry is only a reasonable option in the best circumstance. The lack of trust and transparency displayed by the ELT makes it imperative. All right, so now this one here. However, upon review of outside legal counsel, that's right here. This is the legal counsel. According to Mr. T, Mr. Bowles, right? I've said this a few times. It's like a shining light in this dark and doomy. It's like this, you know, he's standing up for the victims. God bless Mr. Bowles, Mr. T. Now this is Audrey, and God bless Audrey, Manito, because she's also involved with Audrey also studied international human rights, humanitarian law. She's a nonprofit fighting sex trafficking in Houston. May the Lord protect and bless her ministry that is fighting sex trafficking in Houston. Seems like a great lady, but she's tied up in this. But, however, upon outside legal counsel, it is determined that the collection of presented allegation lacked assembly. All right, the outside legal counsel is a close friend. So what they're saying is she is part of IHOP. All right. The current ELT attended Forerunner Church and has also previously advised one of the whistleblowers. Due to the conflict of interest concern, she should recuse herself from the process by any objective standard. The characterization of concerning ministries of the gospel acting in good faith as a compliant group. All right, so they're upset they're called the compliant group. They're like, hey, we're pastors. I've been in your church for 20 years. Mike Bickle, there's got all these people saying that there's something going on at IHOP. Why are you calling us a complaint group and saying that you're out using this guy, saying there's not a shred of evidence and there's possibly an assets and donations? So they don't like the fact that they're calling the complaint group. What they should say is a group of former leaders in full-time pastor are very concerned about the testimonies of multiple women. But these guys labeled them as the complaint group. Is demeaning and an act of bad faith. So these guys are unhappy about the title of complaint group. God bless this lady. The God-fearing men and women have more than 2 or 3 witnesses come to them. The allegation, Mr. Beagle have good faith, gone through a full Matthew 18. All right, they went to Mike first. Then they brought the allegation to the ELT after Mike Bickle refused to engage in biblical process and were requested to give a copy of the extraordinary confidential work draft document as an act of good faith. It acted as, okay, I got to read that again. I'm getting behind here. And we requested to give a copy of extraordinarily confidential work draft document as an act of good faith. In an act of bad faith, the ELT proceeded to demand their good faith gesture from public platforms, saying that their approach lacked any semblance of reliable and due process. That's the narrative that they're winning. All right, the ELT is winning. The narrative is that there's not a shred of proof, nothing. I just had another guy contact. If you like my video, all right, sorry. I use my smartphone for my, all right. The document. The draft document that assessed the group is telling a further scope of a number of allegations was not intended. Now this is interesting. Over as a final document. And I find this part very interesting, and was only handed over as an act of good faith when it initially appeared the ELT was responding to the accusations appropriately. I find that interesting. At what these guys are saying, these guys in the beginning, we're doing great. That's what they're saying. The ELT was responding to the actions appropriately. They're like, yeah, here's some, and then all of a sudden something happened. There is more evidence and more details. However, at no point has any request been made for the further proofs. Clearly noted in the document is that most damning and humiliating details were intentionally left out for the dignity of all of it. So that what these guys are saying is they've only given a piece of the information to these guys, all right? That's what's happening. Furthermore, these details will only be released to an umpire third party. So these guys are saying, all right, listen up. We're not giving you nothing until we get, where's my website? A third party. That's what they're asking for. Right from the day one, they're asking for that. Right from the start. That's what Alan said. The burden of IHOP Leadership 280 an independent third-party investigation is the only pathway forward. So, in reality, these men want the truth and somebody separate from the ELT to talk to Mike and the women. I believe they're telling the truth. All right? All right, let's keep going. Now, this is interesting too. Demands and threats would include dictate IHOP funds. You have to go to my website to watch it. Well, this guy, the spokesman for IHOP leadership, is that, where is it? There's not a shred of evidence. What he's saying, there's another message, forgive me. A lot of people contacting me right now. What this guy is saying, all right, a lot of assets, a lot of money, all right, maybe they're disgruntled and they're after the donations. These guys, and this is what it says, threats of, right here. This is a statement they put out. This is all over social media. So here it is here. So, report initial findings, demand threats. This is what's being reporting in all the news. And this was crafted really well by these men. In order to destroy these men's credibility, this is probably the biggest tool that they're using to destroy them. Because here, they say, these demands and threats, which include dictating the use of IHOP funds, generated an atmosphere of concern. So you're inside the church, you're looking at, see, a lot of people trust these men, all right? And when they tell them, and they put out this statement, that these demands and threat, which include dictating IHOP funds, well, wait a second, you're inside the church, you're giving your tithes and offerings, you're trusting these men. This is like going into your living room, into your personal house. That's what the church is. We're a family of God, one family. All right? I was dedicated, baptized in a Pentecostal church, but I love my cessationist brothers. I listen to them all the time. I love the Reform camp. I listen to them. They love the Bible. We're one family, not metaphorically, literally one family in Christ Jesus. So these men are extremely trusted. The people in the congregation, looking up to them as trusted leaders, say that there's demands and threats in which include dictating. It's almost as if they're like it's a blackmail. They're out for the money. And then, of course, they go onto social media and they hear Stephen saying a lot of assets, a lot of disgruntled. You can get the point. Now, these guys are responding by saying demands and threat. The seriousness of the allegations, which everyone acknowledged, demands a requisite response, suggesting we made to the ELT of various options of independent investigation groups and future care for victim therapy. Repeat, these guys are saying the IHOP funds, all right, various options of independent investigation group and future care for victim therapy for the women. They're not after the property of IHOP. It's ludicrous. I've been investigating this. They're all in the full-time ministry. Right? Wes is like the second pastor of a humongous church. He's not after donations. It's ludicrous. To have this characterized as dictating the use of funds is egregious. Mischaractering demands, threats, and true objections, deceptive and slanderous, and led to the concerned leaders receiving online threats, curses, and harassment. All after, so the damage that these men have done in this position of power to these men's families, reputations, and careers. These men, all right, and their families have received online threats, curses, and harassment, all after the public statements of these guys. Such characterizations must be walked back. I have deleted my last video regarding number 8. This is Catherine, April, and Misty. I absolutely disagree with number 8. I think it's terribly written. And in fairness to these 3 women, I'm not going to put it on my channel. I've deleted my last video that did have number 8 in it. And I reiterate, I disagree with number 8. It's terribly written. Minimalized statements of alleged victim number 2. Partial credibility established. No victim statements include are particularly egregious. Adult clergy abuse is when a church leader uses the power inherited in their position and the role of sexual in someone who has less power and is under their care. Alleged victim number 2. Partial credibility. Reported years of grooming and sexual contact perpetrated by the 42-year-old international renowned minister began when she was 19 years old, a teenager. And under his leadership and care, this adult clergy abuse lasted into the early years of IHOP. Many of the details given were courageously and agonizingly read out loud to the ELT by her husband. All right, these are, and I've seen, you know, this is a statement. As soon as I read this, I looked at it. I didn't know who Ellen was. I started testing it right away. I started investigating. Who are these people and what's going on at IHOP? As many are aware, there's a serious allegation of spiritual and sexual abuse concerning my spiritual father, Mike Bickle. I have been working closely with one survivor and her husband. She is a dear sister who is precious to my wife, Rachel, myself, and my family. We are deeply broken for her. She and our family deserves the utmost care and discretion. The second only detailed allegations from 26 years ago. The allegations include physical contact between Mike Bickle and an adult woman. Oops. It is also insinuated that Mike Bickle may have committed a crime. Many of the details were courageous and agonizingly read out to the ELT by her husband in a victim impact statement. The statement was purposely not added to assembled document due to the extraordinary level of personal vulnerability and exposure. Additionally, victim number 3 statement is plainly included in the document. For the ELT to state the document did not include victim's statement is patently deception. And the ELT is saying victim number 3 is refuted. And what these guys are saying is that victim number 3's statement is plainly included in the document. For the ELA to state the document did not include victim's statement is patent deception. Last one. Offender disaffected. Bitter ex-leader narrative. IHOP leaders reportedly internally propagate the narrative. Reportedly internally propagated the narrative that the group of disaffected ex-leader was a vendetta against IHOP and Mike Bickle. This would be particularly untrue and cruel. We maintain hope that our brothers and sisters have not said that, which is interesting. Because of what, I don't know, where is it? Oh, I might have closed. Oh, it's right here. The update from the ELT, the he or she former IHOP, this he or she is a director. And, you know, I'll finish this off. it's simply true that the responsibility minister of the gospel hears numerous reports of sexual misconduct, has a responsibility to act on such reports. In fact, it can be criminal if they don't report it. None of the consenting leaders have a possibility gain for a grievous situation, only the opposite. You know, I'm just, leave a comment below, like the video. I'm just a simple Christian street pastor. I have a staff of 0. All right. I am a pastor. I graduated in Mexico. I work with people on the street. My congregation, many of them are addicted to crack, heroin, drugs. My congregation, mental health, addictions, and poverty on the street. And I'm just processing all of this. And what I wanted to get to is that when I read this last little bit here, where it says here, this would be particularly untrue and cruel. We maintain hope. We maintain hope. It's another part of the testimony of these men. Can't you see it? I can see it. We remain hope. All right, praise the Lord. They're just getting bashed on social media, their integrity, their ministries. They're watching the public narrative all over social media and public news destroying them. And we remain hope that our brothers and our sisters have not said this. It is simply true that any responsible minister of the gospel hears the numerous reports of sexual misconduct. And the reason I said that is that I can see the Lord working in all this. I can. I've been studying this, and I see there's a spiritual war on right now, where people are standing for truth. There are people that are hiding the truth, misleading the public. I take this so personally because we're one family. On my website, I am publicly calling the resignation of IHOP ELT for the safety of the church first. The culture of protecting somebody, regardless of what denomination, non-denomination, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness have the 2-witness rule, Mormon, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever organization, the culture of protecting somebody that's using their power for sexual abuse has to be exposed. And that's why I've taken this personally. And that's why I have it on the front of my website. It has to come to light. The people that have been involved with this have to be brought out and exposed. It is absolutely slanderous what this man has done to these men. It has to be exposed. And I'm going to have my hope in the Lord. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. And I'll keep you up to date. May the Lord bless you, keep you strong in the faith, and always remember, Brother John loves you.